The GMC Hummer EV weighs over 9,000 pounds. That's heavier than most box trucks you pass on the highway every day. And you can buy one at a dealership this afternoon. Electric cars were supposed to simplify transportation. Fewer moving parts, cleaner energy, a lighter footprint. So why do so many of them weigh as much as a small tank? The answer reaches back further than most people expect, right here on Simple Why. Electric cars are not a recent invention. Back in the 1880s and 1890s, electric vehicles were often more popular than gasoline cars in many American cities. By 1900, electric cars made up about a third, and in some estimates, close to 40%, of all vehicles on American roads. They were quieter, easier to start, no hand cranking required, and perfectly suited to short urban trips. Then, in 1908, Henry Ford introduced the Model T. Gas became cheap, roads got longer, and electric cars couldn't keep up with the range that drivers suddenly wanted. By the 1920s, they had nearly vanished from American roads. The idea came back in the 1990s, pushed along by California's zero-emission vehicle mandate, which required automakers to offer a percentage of zero-emission cars for sale in the state. General Motors responded with the EV1 in 1996, a small two-seat electric car that used lead-acid batteries and had a range of around 70 miles. It was lightweight by today's standards, but the technology wasn't ready for mainstream adoption, and GM discontinued the program in 1999. When we dug into what changed between that early EV era and today's 9,000-pound trucks, the answer turned out to be almost entirely about one thing: how much energy automakers now expect the battery to carry. Now, there's a common belief that EVs offset the weight of their batteries by ditching the engine and all its supporting parts. You'll hear this repeated a lot, and it sounds reasonable, but a gas engine, transmission, exhaust system, and full fuel tank combined still weigh far less than a modern EV battery pack. The savings don't come close to canceling out the addition. A gas-powered engine and a full 15-gallon tank together weigh roughly 300 to 400 pounds. Fuel burns off as you drive, so the car actually gets lighter on a long trip. An EV battery doesn't work that way. It sits there, same weight at mile 1 as at mile 300. And those packs are not small. Depending on the model, a lithium-ion battery pack alone can weigh anywhere from 700 to over 1,500 pounds. The chemistry is the core problem. The materials that actually store energy inside a lithium-ion cell, things like nickel, cobalt, and iron, are inherently dense. They're heavy by nature. You can't swap them out for something lighter without losing energy storage capacity along with it. Current lithium-ion technology maxes out at roughly 250 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram, a commonly cited industry benchmark. In plain terms, to go further, you need more battery. More battery means more weight. There's no shortcut around that with today's technology. Take the BMW 530i, a mid-size sedan at about 4,041 pounds. Its electric twin, the BMW i5 eDrive 40, weighs 4,916 pounds. That's an 875-pound gap between two cars that look nearly identical on the outside. The battery isn't the only thing getting heavier. Everything around it has to scale up too. A pack weighing over 1,000 pounds needs a casing strong enough to survive a crash without rupturing. That casing adds weight. The frame has to be reinforced to carry the load? More weight? The suspension has to be heavy-duty enough for the increased stress? More weight still. There's also a feedback loop built into the design itself. Range anxiety, the fear of running out of charge on the road, pushes automakers to add more battery capacity. More capacity means more mass. More mass reduces efficiency, which then encourages engineers to add even more capacity to compensate. The cycle keeps turning. The Rivian R1T pickup sits at around 7,000 pounds. The Cadillac Escalade IQ crosses 9,000 pounds. These aren't specialized vehicles. They're consumer trucks and SUVs sold at retail. For comparison, most gas-powered Chevrolet Suburban trims come in under 6,000 pounds. The weight gap between a gas SUV and its electric equivalent can run close to 3,000 pounds. There's a real upside buried in all of this, because the battery sits low in the car, essentially forming the floor. The center of gravity drops well below what most gas cars can achieve. That means less body roll in corners, better stability in crosswinds, and a planted feel on the highway that a lot of EV drivers genuinely prefer. The reinforced structure also tends to perform well in crash safety tests, and the low center of gravity reduces rollover risk in tall vehicles. That said, weight creates different problems. Every additional 1,000 pounds a striking vehicle weighs. The baseline fatality probability for those it hits rises by about 47%. Heavier cars protect their own occupants. They're harder on everyone else. EV tires also wear roughly 20% faster than those on comparable gas cars. Weight is the main culprit, made worse by the instant torque electric motors deliver. And in 2023, a parking garage in Lower Manhattan, built in 1925, collapsed, prompting city officials to ask how many older structures across the US were designed for loads that modern EVs simply exceed. The next major step forward is almost certainly solid-state batteries. Unlike lithium-ion, they use a solid electrolyte instead of a liquid one, which allows for higher energy density in a smaller, lighter package. Finnish company Donut Labs recently announced a solid-state design reaching 400 watt-hours per kilogram. A 100 kilowatt-hour pack built to that spec would weigh around 550 pounds. Current lithium-ion packs of the same capacity weigh significantly more. This is still early stage. Commercial production at scale hasn't happened yet, but the direction is clear. So the next time you see an electric car and assume it's the light, stripped-down option, it isn't, at least not yet. The battery that powers it is also what makes it one of the heaviest vehicles on the road. That's the trade-off automakers are still working through. What aspect of electric vehicles surprised you the most? If you've got a topic you want us to look into next, leave it in the comments, and if we pick yours, we'll give you a shout-out. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching Simple Why.